The Siege of Lanka and the Fall of Kumbhakarna. Listen closely for a moment. Just past the heavy, rhythmic thud of war drums and beyond the distant, restless roar of the ocean, a profound, world-shattering tragedy is unfolding. We are stepping onto the blood-soaked sands of an ancient, mythological battlefield. This is a place where cosmic destiny is on a direct collision course with devastating, deeply personal hubris. What we are about to witness isn't just a clash of towering armies. It is a profound exploration of duty, the inescapable, crushing weight of reality, and the catastrophic cost of unyielding pride. We are standing right at the golden gates of a doomed empire, watching the final desperate hours of an unstoppable giant. This perilous life is a drop of water, a hanging raindrop on a lotus leaf. Soon it falls back in the pond below and is lost. I want you to hold on to those words for a second. Let that slow, reflective rhythm anchor us before the chaos begins. Because before the steel clashes, before the earth literally shatters under the weight of titans, we absolutely must understand the philosophical stakes of this war. Every monstrous roar, every desperate defense we are about to see, it is all temporary. It is a fleeting, fragile drop of water, trembling in the wind before the inevitable fall.
Part 1. The siege begins. The dawn slowly breaks over the massive golden walls of Lanka, casting long shadows over a city holding its breath. High above the northern gate, standing beneath the shadow of a royal white umbrella, is King Ravana. He leans heavily on the ramparts. His 20 arms are spread side by side along the cold, unyielding stone. Beside him, demons silently, methodically wave white showery fans made from yak tails, trimmed with iridescent peacock feathers. Ravana wears robes as white as fame itself, adorned with rubies that shine as red as fresh blood. He is completely quiet. He is patient. And he is staring down at the horizon, watching the terrifying, sprawling force that has come to destroy his world. A stark, almost unbelievable contrast defines these two opposing forces. On one side, Rama's army stretches as far as the eye can see, a chaotic sea of organic, primal fury. There is Sugriva, a warrior fathered by the sun himself, Jambavan, the great ancient bear, and Rama, standing with tangled hair, dark green skin, and an anger that feels like death incarnate. They don't have towering siege engines. They don't wear heavy plate armor. They fight with massive uprooted trees, giant jagged stones, and their bare, bleeding hands. They are raw, unfiltered nature, entirely willing to lay down their lives for their leader. On the exact opposite side stands the Rakshasa army of Lanka. This is a roaring, iron-clad demonic war machine. It features heavy artillery fringed with dark fire and terrifying chariots with crescent moon spikes mounted right on the harness poles. There are swords, barbed harpoons, and soldiers riding into battle not on horses, but on the backs of giant blue rats, venomous scorpions, and massive toads. It is the unbreakable wild will of nature crashing head-on into an unnatural, industrialized nightmare. Part 2. The Fall of Prahasta. As the massive northern gate of Lanka finally snaps open, the youngest third of the demon army pours out onto the battlefield. But things do not go as planned. In the harsh, revealing light of the noonday sun, the demons fail miserably. The great bears shatter their intricate iron chariots, brutally killing the drivers with their own broken axles. Monkeys flatten the heavily armored infantry by dropping literal cliffs on them. At noon, bleeding, broken, and humiliated, the demon general Prahasta is forced to order a full retreat. The great gate shuts behind them like a steel trap. The demons realize they cannot win in the light. They can only wait for the dark.
Because nightfall is when the Rakshasas truly awaken. As twilight fades and the sun dips below the ocean, the air thickens with the heavy, suffocating scent of incense and the deep, murmuring chants of demonic prayers. The shadows stretch out, and the demons draw immense, pulsing power from the dark. Deep within the city, General Prahasta prepares for war in a way that defies all logic. To fuel his unnatural rage, he is handed a heavy stone flask. He drinks down heavenly, intoxicating soma juice, and then he eats the glass. He literally crunches the shattered glass in his teeth, chewing it alongside dried red-hot pepper seeds. Little flames begin to lick over his lips, darting between teeth that have been burned black by his own internal bubbling fury. Prahasta's war chariot is a vessel of pure, concentrated chaos.
Drawn by 64 mottled green serpents tied together with unsolvable knots, the chariot doesn't just carry physical weapons. Yes, there are slaughter sledges and heavy butcher knives, but it is also loaded with horrific psychological warfare. Prahasta weaponizes the mind itself. He carries wrong-way road signs, false maps of mirages, bad dreams, loaded dice, and actual, literal heartbreak. He unleashes delusions and the agonizing pain of lost first loves onto the battlefield, turning the minds of his enemies into a slaughterhouse while sparks fly from the whirling iron wheels of his chariot.
The demons surge forward into the night, blowing 10,000 out-of-tune shells that curdle the blood. Arrows as long and thick as chariot axles rain down in the dark, piercing bears and monkeys by the dozens. The animal army scatters in sheer terror. All except one, Nala, the quiet, focused bridge builder. Nala stands amidst a hailstorm of screaming rockets and heavy brass clubs, with his eyes completely closed, as calm and unbothered as a proud bull standing in a warm rainstorm. When he finally opens his eyes, they are narrow with an ancient rage. In a lightning-fast, impossible maneuver, Nala shifts his weight, tipping the very earth of Trikuta Hill itself. Prahasta's chariot violently overturns. The 64 serpents dive in terror into the earth. Prahasta steps from the smoking wreckage, literally spitting fire from his black teeth. But Nala calmly rips a massive, heavy golden wheel from the shattered chariot. Effortlessly dodging a fiery mace, he brings the wheel down, crushing it directly over the demon general's heart. Prahasta falls, and the raging night goes dead, utterly silent. Part 3. Awakening the Sleeping Giant. An eerie, suffocating quiet settles over the inner walls of Lanka. Their unkillable general is dead. The cold reality of defeat is creeping up the palace steps, bleeding under the doors. King Ravana, desperate, cornered, and running out of time, realizes he has only one single option left. He must awaken his ultimate weapon. He must rouse the sleeping giant. 6 months. That is how long the giant Kumbhakarna, Ravana's brother, sleeps at a single time. Just let that sink in. This gives you a sense of his sheer, unfathomable scale. He rests in the single largest building in the entire city, and his breathing alone creates a windy, violent push and pull that nearly knocks a full-grown man off his feet. His hair is like a dense grove of young forest trees. He is a creature so monstrous, so unbelievably ancient, that when he hunts for food, he ties massive boulders to his hair just to crush his prey as he walks.
Waking a creature the size of a mountain requires a monumental, almost comical level of effort. Hundreds of servants flood his vast chamber with the mouth-watering scent of crisp roast buffalo and massive steaming vats of wine. The minister, Sukha, stands right next to the giant's ear and violently, repeatedly smashes huge brass cymbals together. But Kumbhakarna only yawns, revealing a throat that looks like a glowing red mine shaft leading straight down into hell. Finally, in desperation, they drive a team of 18 fully trained elephants right up the giant's side and march them across his massive chest, spraying freezing cold water directly into his face. The giant finally stirs. He opens his ancient eyes, casually drains a vat of wine in one gulp, and the entire earth shudders.
Part 4. The Weight of Dharma. Because Kumbhakarna is not just some mindless, lumbering beast. As he rises and steps out of his massive hall, blotting out the very stars of heaven with his sheer, terrifying size, we enter the deeply philosophical, tragic heart of this entire conflict. To truly understand this war, we must understand the concept of dharma. It is the cosmic law of right behavior, a fundamental truth, and of the moral order that literally holds the universe together. When Kumbhakarna sits down with his brother, King Ravana, to learn why on Earth there is an apocalyptic war raging outside their gates, Ravana is forced to admit the truth. He stole Rama's wife Sita, simply because he was lost in selfish longing, and his pride refused to let him give her back. Kumbhakarna looks down at his brother, the brilliant king of the demons, and says, "Your entire education was a waste. For nothing did you read the Holy Veda." Let the weight of that sink in. Even this monstrous, bloodthirsty giant, a being who crushes life for sport and sleeps for half a year, recognizes that Ravana has violated the deepest, most fundamental laws of reality. Stealing another man's wife out of pure lust isn't just a political misstep. It is a spiritual crime that unravels the very fabric of existence. Kumbhakarna looks his brother dead in the eye and tells him he has uprooted dharma. He warns him with absolute certainty that because Ravana has darkened the world with this act, only a harvest of misfortune can possibly follow. But here is the profound tragedy. Here is the devastating, fatal flaw of this story. Ravana refuses to listen, utterly deafened by his own towering hubris. And Kumbhakarna? Despite seeing with absolute crystal clarity that his brother is morally bankrupt, despite knowing this war is entirely unjustified, Kumbhakarna chooses familial loyalty over righteousness. He takes his conscience, locks it away into the Stone Age, and marches out to die for a cause he knows in his bones is wrong. Part 5. The Giant's Last Stand. The tension on the battlefield outside hits an absolute breaking point. Kumbhakarna dons colossal armor of thick bronze and a shining helmet of gold. His ornamental chains are heavier than the massive drawbridges of Lanka. Before stepping out to meet his fate, he drinks down 2,000 vats of heavy war wine. The ground begins to tremble violently beneath his feet. Kumbhakarna steps completely over the towering city wall like walking death itself. He wields a massive black iron spear, and when his enormous hand grips it, deadly blue fires that look like they belong at the birth of time itself, blaze fiercely around the spear point. High above his head flies his pitch-black banner, bearing the golden death wheel of absolute oblivion. He looks out at the sprawling animal army and unleashes a horrible, unnatural war cry. It's a shuddering, impossible sound, so low it vibrates through the dirt into their bones, yet so piercing it instantly shatters the mind. The animals don't even try to fight. Thousands simply fall completely unconscious. The rest run in blind, mindless panic, their own war fires rolling and burning over the land in the chaos. Only a tiny handful manage to stand their ground. The giant locks his eyes on Rama and advances.
And now we witness the terrifying, methodical precision of pure divine retribution. Hanuman tries desperately to stop him, leaping unimaginably high to bite a massive chunk out of the giant's ear, but Kumbhakarna simply swats the great hero away like a bothersome insect. It is just Rama now. Rama steps back, and with chilling, systematic, terrifying calm, he begins to dismantle the unstoppable giant piece by piece. First, a glowing arrow tied with thunderbolt knots pierces Kumbhakarna right through his thick bronze armor and deep into his chest. The wound is completely fatal, but pure, unadulterated hatred keeps the giant moving forward. He screams his defiance at the heavens. Rama calmly draws his bow again. A razor-headed arrow screams through the air and severs the giant's massive right arm, crushing entire groves of trees as it hits the earth. Kumbhakarna keeps coming, roaring through blood that he will reach up and pull down the very stars. Rama fires again. Thirsty, glowing arrows completely sever the left arm, dropping it miles away into the sea where the impact bruises the whales in the deep. Still, the ruined giant drags his torso forward through the mud. Rama coldly severs his legs. The monstrous, limbless giant lies just feet away, his massive mouth still opening and closing in furious, soundless defiance. Finally, Rama draws one last arrow and decapitates him. Part 6. A Harvest of Misfortune. The giant's severed head rolls violently down the hill and sinks slowly to the pitch-black bottom of the sea. It is over. Dawn breaks, the cold stars fade, completely defeated by the rising sun, and Rama stands utterly alone, quietly unstringing his bow in the gentle sunlight. The invincible brother is gone.
Back on the high walls of Lanka, the noxious fumes of hot anger and unfathomable grief fill King Ravana. He watches the smoke swirl from his own 10 mouths like a dismal, suffocating shroud. Beside him stands the elder Mulyavan, who watches the sun rise over the utter ruin of their forces and offers this piercing, unforgettable insight. Like a mirror gleaming through from within a black velvet bag, we may sometimes glimpse reality shining here and there when it takes us unawares. For all of Ravana's immense magic, all his military power, all his blinding arrogance, reality has finally brutally broken through the illusion. The inescapable consequence of his selfish actions has finally arrived at his doorstep. Ravana hangs his many heads and weeps. The grief is profound, suffocatingly heavy, and absolute. He realizes that the natural laws of the world are fundamentally broken because of him. Heavy stones float on the sea. Unarmed animals defeat armored demons. His beloved brother, the only one brave enough to try and warn him, is dead. And for what? Ravana looks at the impenetrable walls of his majestic city and whispers, "What have I to do with empire? What shall I care now for Sita? This life is useless to me." His unchecked, selfish longing has brought total doom to everything he ever loved. Which brings us to a final, lingering thought. Think about Ravana, willfully blind to consequence, and Kumbhakarna, marching to an unjust death out of misplaced loyalty. We have to ask ourselves, is our destiny truly shaped by the immovable will of the gods, or is it forged entirely by our own unchecked desires, by our own stubborn refusals to see the reality gleaming through the velvet bag? It is a question that echoes in the silence long after the war drums finally fade. If this journey moved you, support the channel with a like, share, and subscribe for more timeless stories.